Today, I want to talk about, in this topic, I want to talk about mistakes which Nelson Chamisa of the MDC opposition party in Zimbabwe. I want to talk about the mistakes of why Nelson Chamisa didn't succeed. Nelson Chamisa won the 2018 elections of Zimbabwe in last year of 2018. Nelson Chamisa won that at least by 75%. Now, let's talk about here. I want to talk about the reason why Nelson Chamisa did not succeed in gaining power in Zimbabwe last year. Nelson Chamisa did few mistakes. I like Nelson Chamisa. In fact, Nelson Chamisa, I want to say that Nelson Chamisa is the only hope for Zimbabwe. Everybody who's the MDC led by Nelson Chamisa is the only party which is internationally recognized. It is the only party which can lift Zimbabwe out of its misery. All other parties are just puppy. It's called a puppy play, wasting their time. The MDC led by Nelson Chamisa is the only party internationally recognized. It is the only party which is internationally recognized. All other small party is just wasting their time. What they call in Shona, what is it? They call a Kuteanzo Neriva, whiling up time. What they call it, whiling up time. That's what they are doing. But the MDC of Nelson Chamisa is the only party which is internationally recognized. Any other party is just wasting your time. The MDC is the only party to vote for. Okay, any other party is wasting your time. Now, the topic here I want to talk about why Nelson Chamisa did not succeed in the 2018 election of Zimbabwe. Now, Nelson Chamisa did a very few couple of mistakes. Now, the mistake Nelson Chamisa did was this. Nelson Chamisa ran a grassroots campaign to win votes. Look, everybody knows in Zimbabwe that the ZANU-PF, led by the Emmerson Mnangagwa and Robert Mugabe, those people are nothing but a bunch of criminals. Okay. Obviously, we know the tactics they use in rigging elections and putting people in the position of power in every institution, in every public institution, including the National Election Board, which runs the election. They put their own people. Now, Nelson Chamisa did very couple of mistakes there. Now, this is what are the mistakes of Nelson Chamisa did. 2018, Nelson Chamisa did very, very big blunders. The big blunders he did is to put a trust. There is no way you can put institutions of a dictatorship. There is no way you can run an election. An election, you as opposition party well know that the institutions of government are already captured. Institutions which run elections in Zimbabwe are captured institutions. All public institutions in Zimbabwe are captured institutions. The institutions which are captured and rigged. Now, under these circumstances, what surprised me is when the international community, European Union and some people from the United States and from the EU and European Union, all these other people from these organizations, from these countries, came to Zimbabwe in 2018 to monitor and look at the situations of Zimbabwe, what was going on in Zimbabwe. And Nelson Chamisa, upon knowing this is what the mistake what Nelson Chamisa did, he already knew that the institutions in Zimbabwe are not democratic institutions. Zimbabwe does not have democratic institutions in Zimbabwe. It does not. You understand? In a country, you already know there is no independence in all public institutions in Zimbabwe. Zero. Since 1980, all public institutions, including the electoral board, which really runs the elections in Zimbabwe, is not an independent body. It's a rigged a captured institution. Now, under these circumstances, there is no way Nelson Chamisa, what Nelson Chamisa came in, he came out after knowing that the elections have been stolen from the MDC, which had won almost 70%, knowing that the institutions which run the public, all institutions in Zimbabwe are captured institutions. On all institutions in Zimbabwe, these institutions are captured by the state. Zimbabwe is a state captured country. All institutions, all public institutions are already under the control of the ZANU-PF criminals or cartels. Knowing this, knowing very well, why did Nelson Chamisa went publicly and say, well, you stole my elections, I'm taking you to court? That mentality that I'm taking you to court, we're going to the Zimbabwe's Supreme Court. We're going to Zimbabwe's Supreme Court. This is what Nelson Chamisa publicly announced, that I'm taking you to the Zimbabwe Supreme Court, the highest court of the land. And that mentality, that public phrase of saying you are taking a dictatorship. You are really taking a dictatorship. A dictator to his own court, which his people are running. This is what Nelson Chamisa did. This was the biggest. I looked at Nelson Chamisa and I said, this young man, though Nelson Chamisa is doing things correctly, he's not aware that the institutions which run these services in Zimbabwe are captured and rigged. How would you say to the international community, I'm going to take this dictator government of Emmerson Mnangagwa to court? Which court? You are well aware that the court itself is not an independent. Why would you announce to the international community that you are going to take an Emmerson Mnangagwa's dictatorship party to his own court with his own people running it? His own people is running this court. And Nelson Chamisa said, I'm taking you to court. We're going to the Zimbabwe's supreme highest court of the law. And the international community looked at Nelson Chamisa talking like this, and they were shocked to see something like that, and they thought, oh my God, does this man trust the court? You see what I'm saying? And when I look at Nelson Chamisa like this, I was looking at Nelson Chamisa, I was like, oh my God, are you kidding me? Are you crazy? Instead of criticizing all these institutions, this is what Nelson Chamisa did. He said, I'm taking you to court. And by saying you are taking to these dictators to court internationally, you are saying to the international community, you have got trust in the institutions of the law. You have got trust in the police of the government. You've got trust in the military of Zimbabwe. You've got trust in institutions of Zimbabwe's government. This is what you said. You put yourself in the position of disrepair. These are the mistakes Nelson Chamisa did. He said to the international community, I'm taking you to court. I'm taking you to court. How would you take a dictator to his own court, which he has created himself, and put his own people? This is what surprised me. I started looking at Nelson Chamisa. I thought, oh my God, this young man, though Nelson Chamisa is right what he's doing, you are supposed to take someone to court, but you have to understand Zimbabwe is not a democratic nation. It's not a democratic nation. Zimbabwe does not have democratic institutions. It does not. Everything which Nelson Chamisa did was correct. Everything which Nelson Chamisa did was 100% correct. But under which circumstances? You should have thought here. Under which circumstances are you saying you are taking someone to court? Do you trust the court? No. Do you trust the institutions which run public in Zimbabwe? No. Do you trust any institution in Zimbabwe? All the public institutions in Zimbabwe are run by the state, which is controlled by these dictators of Emmerson Mnangagwa and Robert Mugabe. These people put their own people in all institutions of the public. Why would you say to the international community, I'm taking you to court? I'm taking you to the court. Anytime you say that, the international community thought, you trusted the court. You trusted the law in Zimbabwe. Meanwhile, you are well aware that in Zimbabwe, no court is independent. The police are not independent. The The institutions of law in Zimbabwe is not independent. The police is not independent. Any public office in Zimbabwe is not independent. The military used to be independent, no longer independent. So all these institutions of the government, none of them are independent. All of them have got a dictatorship cartel of Emmerson Mnangagwa and Robert Mugabe. They've got their own people running these institutions. Under what circumstances would you come and say, I'm taking you to the court? How would you take, it's like, how would you take Robert Mugabe to his own court with his own people and say, the Supreme Court is the highest? It's not that the Supreme Court in Zimbabwe is not the highest. The Supreme Court in Zimbabwe is a rigged institution. None of them are democratic elements. The institutions of the so-called, it's not in Supreme Court, it's a so-called. You understand? It's not a democratic, it's like someone in North Korea. You can't take North Korea to its own court with its own people. You understand? It's like someone in North Korea saying, I'm taking the North Korean government to the court, to the highest court of North Korea. This is what Emmerson Mnangagwa publicly said without knowing. Anytime you say to someone, I'm taking you to court, that means you've got trust in that court. That means you've got full-blown trust in that court. There is no way you're going to say, I'm taking you to court. I'm calling the police. Do you trust these people? No. Why would you publicly announce that? Because the international community, the European Union was there, the United States was there, a lot of other international bodies, people were there. But when they listened to Nelson Chamisa saying that he was nailing himself on the coffin, indirectly without knowing, because anytime you say to someone, I'm taking you to court, people think the court is independent. The moment you publicly say something stupid like that, in a country you know is not a democratic country, you are well aware that Zimbabwe is not a democratic country. You are well aware that Zimbabwe is not a democratic country. And you're going to publicly say, I'm taking you to court. I'm taking you to the Supreme Court. And the international community listens to Nelson Chamisa say that. And they had a grip of mentality. They paused a little bit. I was looking at every event which was happening in Zimbabwe in 2018. The international community, there was a lot of international bodies in Zimbabwe towards the election. And they started listening. Maybe something good is going to come out of this. Because they were listening to the MDC. They thought something good is coming out. But everybody in Zimbabwe was well aware. You see, 5 days of not reporting the elections when the elections were already counted already. 5 days. They were manipulating and moving papers here and there. And everybody is well aware. We are well aware that Zimbabwe is not a democratic nation. There was no way you're going to take someone to court in his own court, which they have already created, and put their own people. Or everybody in Zimbabwe is well aware institutions of Zimbabwe are not democratic institutions. They're all rigged. They're all captured. Zimbabwe itself is a captured state. The police is captured. In Zimbabwe, as we speak today, the biggest problem is the government itself. You understand? There is no way. The police are the ones which you see in Zimbabwe. They're the ones raping women. They're the ones causing problems. They're the ones who are stealing things from the public. You understand? The police themselves raping women, stealing a lot of stuff from the public. I mean, the corruption and within the government itself, it's extremely disgusting. And then you see the public, the military itself, it's a captured thing. I mean, look at the military. They used to be independent. I don't even respect nobody in the government. In Zimbabwe, the military have destroyed their own legacy. 1980, people used to glorify the military. Today, the military are no longer Zimbabwe's military. They are now a ZANU-PF military. Pretty much they've destroyed their own legacy. As you can see, even the death of this guy, who's this one, Dumiso Dabengwa, none of them came and, say their last respect. So-called ZANU-PF people. They didn't come and even pay their last respect on Dumiso Dabengwa. They care less about it. You see, because now it's almost they are fighting for a political survival. They don't have any policy for economic survival. They are now fighting only to remain in power at all costs. That it's now a personal, pretty much political survival. That's the thing they're fighting for. But Nelson Chamisa made a mistake. Internationally, he made a mistake by actually giving the international community a mentality of trusting in institutions of Zimbabwe. He gave the wrong signal, because by saying I'm taking you to court, you're taking what? Why would you put a dictator in his own court he has created himself with his own members inside? You understand? And when I looked at Nelson Chamisa, I thought, this guy is right. But what he's saying the right thing to the wrong institution, to the wrong people. If you say, I'm taking you to court, imagine someone reporting my son to me. Why would someone report my son to me? What do you think I'm going to do to my son? You think I'm going to go after my son? It doesn't work like that. You understand? So that's what Nelson Chamisa did. He did a very big mistake in the eyes of the international community. I'm taking you to court. I'm taking you to the highest court of the land. I'm taking you to the court. We're going to the Supreme Court of Zimbabwe. And the international community was looking at it like, do you really have good trust in these institutions? Is Zimbabwe a democratic state? No, it's not. Everybody in the country is well aware it's not. But Nelson Chamisa gave this impression internationally. That's why now the international body is confused in Zimbabwe. So they say, this man, the so-called winner of Zimbabwe, he's not moving on. What's going on here? The rigging of election was the easy part. But making people who didn't vote for you work with you, those whom you stole, you can't steal my car. If you steal my car and then you ask me to pay for a ride in my own car you just stolen from me. This is what the ZANU-PF is doing for Emmerson Mnangagwa. They want to ask the MDC, come and join us, lift the country. There is no way we're going to join you after stealing from us. Why would you join you to make you prosper from the wealth of stealing from us? Why should I help you, push my car? You just stolen from me. Imagine someone comes and steals your car and then come and ask you to push the car. Please, can you push the car for me while I'm driving it? A criminal comes and steals your car and then he comes and asks you for the money for petrol. This is what the ZANU-PF is doing. The ZANU-PF is well aware the country is not. Here's why. ZANU-PF party are well aware the country is not going to move forward under them. Any Zimbabwean person who's in Zimbabwe needs to understand this. The ZANU-PF is a sanctioned club. ZANU-PF people are sanctioned. Zimbabwe under ZANU-PF is sanctioned. Sanction is tools have been imposed through the abuse of human rights and law and mass murdering of people in Zimbabwe has led to countries like the United States imposing sanction on Zimbabwe, and including the European Union. What is the European Union is doing at the moment in Zimbabwe? They're monitoring. They're not going to invest anything in Zimbabwe. They're monitoring the situation in Zimbabwe. They're well aware that the Emmerson Mnangagwa stole the election. They have already monitored him and these soldiers killing people after the election and dispersing people and murdering people, capturing people, going after people. Everything is out. It's known. They are well aware now that the Emmerson Mnangagwa stole the election and he's not the legitimate person of Zimbabwe. Everybody knows. All the international community is well aware of that. You understand? So Zimbabwe under ZANU-PF is not going to go anywhere. It's not going anywhere. Many people think, why is Emmerson Mnangagwa not moving the country forward? No. Stealing the election was the easy part. But how to force people you stole from work with you, that's a different thing now. Because millions of people in Zimbabwe, 78% of Zimbabweans are well aware these people stole the election. You understand? They are well aware. We know that. And millions of Zimbabweans in the diaspora know that. There is no way you can spend from 1980 to 2018 with the same party which is responsible for atrocities in Zimbabwe be in charge today. No one is going to work with them. They're just thinking, see, voting for MDC is the only way out. Not only is the only way out, the MDC is the only party in Zimbabwe which is going to change Zimbabwe for good. It's going to bring prosperity and everything will change because we have got a lot of Zimbabweans in the diaspora will come to lift Zimbabwe out. As long as a correct person who should be in power, and everybody is well aware is Nelson Chamisa of the MDC. Anybody out you vote for, you're wasting your time. Any other person who's not internationally recognized, you're just wasting your time, pretty much. You're just, it's like you're kissing your own mother's backside. You're just wasting your time. Look, Zimbabwe under Emmerson Mnangagwa is not going to go anywhere. There's a lot of investors who want to come and invest in Zimbabwe, but they're well aware. They know that Zimbabwe is under a military capture. They are well aware of that. Now the Zimbabwe of Emmerson Mnangagwa, most of these people, they want to pretend as if we're calling the MDC to come and join us so that we work together. No. Everybody knows we don't trust you. Not only that we don't trust you, we know you're liars, you're criminals, you're a bunch of liars. You're just you can't trick anybody. No one is a child now. Nobody in Zimbabwe is stupid. Nobody is a child. We know every trick Robert Mugabe used, and Emmerson Mnangagwa is trying to use the same tactics which Robert Mugabe used to think, look, who do you fool in Zimbabwe? There's no stupid person today voting for. Look, any time you see a person of ZANU-PF in charge, it's suffer continue. Get it into your mind here. Anytime you see a person representing ZANU-PF in front of you, that means suffer continue. Nobody, international community, instead of investing 200 billion in Zimbabwe in infrastructure development of things of that nature, instead of investing 200 billion, they're putting maybe instead of Zimbabwe receiving 200 or 300 billion, Zimbabwe is getting roughly maybe 2 or 3 million for humanitarian and just monitoring. They're just monitoring to prevent Zimbabwe getting into, to prevent a lot of death of even children. That's what the United Nations and the European Union is there for. It's there as monitoring. They're not there to invest in Zimbabwe. Nobody's going to invest under Emmerson Mnangagwa. They're well aware of that. They know that Zimbabwe is under a military dictator because they already know it now. When they saw soldiers in Zimbabwe, shooting with the guns, they now know that these people really rigged elections. They're well aware. Emmerson Mnangagwa is only there through the ballot of a gun, not through the vote, not through the gun. It's now out there. Everybody know, including the European Union. The European Union, who you see today in Zimbabwe, they're just there for monitoring purposes. They're not there for investment, Instead of putting 20 billion, 30 billion, 40 billion, they're there to put $5 million, $2 million, just to monitor, to prevent the children dying or people starving like that. That's the purpose they're doing now. They're monitoring the situation until a true democratic government is put. At the moment, they're well aware it's not a democratic. They know from the diaspora and from people in Zimbabwe and outside Zimbabwe. They are well aware of things like that. So in Zimbabwe, like I say, everybody is well aware that the institutions of Zimbabwe are rigged institutions. Emmerson Mnangagwa is a liar. This man is so stupid. The tactic he's using and trying to do, you see, what they call in Shona, Kuroba Imha, Wakaviga Mpinyu, talking good and behind the doors is a liar. He thinks, look, we're not children. Emmerson Mnangagwa thinks he can, let bygone be bygone, talking a good talk when behind the closed doors. He's a monster. Emmerson Mnangagwa is the worst. He's the worst piece of shit I've never seen. You know what I'm saying? I would never, ever talk to a guy called Emmerson Mnangagwa. Never. Emmerson Mnangagwa wants to pretend as if we don't know his tactics. We know these tactics. You want to talk a good talk, but deep down, he doesn't mean it. You understand? Deep down, he's relying on the militaries and all these war veterans, which people he put. What kind of a country would put the military, the military should stay away out of public institutions. The military is there for a country. It's not there for these are some of the mistakes which Zimbabwe's military at the moment is doing. You're going to lose your legitimacy. No one is going to respect the Zimbabwe military now. They're destroying their own legacy. You understand? Because already they've destroyed their own country. Millions of Zimbabweans are now in the diaspora. You can't tell what they call in Shona, Matakachika Karanyara Dzimwana, preaching about your war in the 1970s, 50 years ago. It's not going to put bread on the pocket, on the table. It's not going to put bread on the table. Matakachika Karanyara Dzimwana, you cannot tell me about your ngano, whatever you did in the 1980s, in the 1970s, that somehow it's irrelevant now. People who were born in 1980, they are now grandfathers. They are now 40 years. They are now grandfathers. You can't, and they've never seen it, the war. So talking about a war and about something you did in the past and you destroyed your own country, Zimbabwe, which the military fought for, they destroyed. There's no Zimbabwe. People are trying to create a new Zimbabwe now. You know what I mean? They passed the Zimbabwe of Robert Mugabe. It died out. They destroyed that. There's no soldier today in Zimbabwe I can respect now. It's over. There's no soldier. They destroyed their own legacy. It's like huku ya chikama zayayo. You know, huku ya chikama zayayo. Huku ya pata. At the moment, the ZANU-PF ya pata. Ya pata. You understand? It's sort of like, you know, it's like if you buy a brand new car and you burn your own new car, you can't tell your people, you know, once upon a time I used to have a Benz, a limousine. Where is it? I burned it. It's now on the ashes over there or on the street. That's stupid. You know, you think people are going to be happy and excitement that Paivapo, Tsuronakudo, one day they ate this and that. Ingano. That's what is there in Zimbabwe. You know, you can't talk me about something, a country you fought for and destroyed. You know, there's no country you fought for. Now young people are trying to create a new country for themselves. They're trying to create a new country for themselves. But Zimbabwe at the moment is hijacked by the ZANU-PF. ZANU-PF is almost a stain. ZANU-PF. It's almost like a very big scar of Zimbabwe. I would never ever vote for any person of ZANU-PF. No matter I became a mental sick. Voting for ZANU-PF is equivalent to swim in a pool of waste, a raw sewage. Who swimmer inside the raw sewage is much better than vote for any person of ZANU-PF. Any person of ZANU-PF, I would never vote for any person, whether female or man, any person of ZANU-PF. Look, any person of ZANU-PF, I would never ever vote for anybody of ZANU-PF. You understand? Kufotera munhu weZANU-PF, it's equivalent today. Kana uri munhu akakwana muZimbabwe, these people have destroyed one of the most safest nation, one of the most beautiful country in the Africa was Zimbabwe. Zimbabwe was the most safest nation. In Zimbabwe, we had no crimes. Not like South Africa. South Africa have got guns, people dying every day. Zimbabwe was one of the most safest country on earth. It has been destroyed with the greedy, corrupt people of ZANU-PF. The greedy, that mentality of not wanting to leave power, have made the ZANU-PF people like that. Now they're crying to say, oh, let's call the MDC inside, you know, let's bygones be bygones, maybe the MDC will come. The MDC, I'm an MDC supporter, 100%. You understand? The ZANU-PF think that MDC should come and sort of like help them when we are. Look, MDC doesn't need ZANU-PF to lift Zimbabwe. No. We need international cooperation, international bodies. They'll come and invest under a safe democratic Zimbabwe, which is led by which is led by Nelson Chamisa. That's the thing. Zimbabwe led by MDC doesn't need ZANU-PF, doesn't need any other party. Itself, it will receive international investment. It will stabilize the country. All the public bodies of Zimbabwe will be independently run. From healthy, education, school, public, every public body will be independently run by people who are competent, not people who are linked to a party state, no, people who are competent. You have to be qualified to run Zimbabwe. You have to be a Zimbabwean and be qualified to run Zimbabwe, not be linked to any party like what is happening in Zimbabwe at the moment. Under Emerson Mnangagwa, Zimbabwe is going into the drain. See, stealing election was the easy part, but forcing people who you stole from to support you, that's a difficult part. Forcing us, we didn't vote for you, to come and help you loot the country further. You must be out of your brain here. That's what Emerson Mnangagwa is trying to do. He's trying to ask people who we know you stole from us, you know, as MDC. You think we're going to help you loot our, you know, think of someone. Can someone come and say, well, please help me loot your house? Imagine someone is coming to steal your own property and asks you to help that person lift a sofa or a TV. Someone is trying to loot your property, to steal a TV or a radio or your bed, and is asking you to help me lift your TV away. Help me steal your own TV. This is what Emerson Mnangagwa is doing. He's trying to help. He's trying to ask the MDC. We know you steal from us. You said you can do it on your own. But they know they cannot do it on their own because the ZANU-PF party is the party which is sanctioned. So Zimbabwe under ZANU-PF is a sanctioned state. It's like North Korea. North Korea cannot go anywhere, even Iran. These are countries which have been sanctioned, and Zimbabwe is on the list. Zimbabwe is on the list under Emerson Mnangagwa. You see what I'm saying? What you see today is just the monitoring. The EU, the European Union, and all other international bodies that are there for monitoring purposes. They're just monitoring the paper. They're well aware the country of Emerson Mnangagwa is not illegitimate leader. He stole the election. Everybody knows it. That's why he's finding it difficult to move Zimbabwe forward. That's why in Zimbabwe there is no hospitals, people are not paid enough, there is no money, there is no investment, nothing is coming. The stealing of election is now impacting the ruling regime of Emerson Mnangagwa. They are now being affected by what they've done during the election. Nelson Chamisa doesn't need that. If Nelson Chamisa was in power today, all banks would have money today. There will be no queues, you see, today, because you don't need that. International bodies will come independently. They'll invest independently themselves. They don't need even government. International bodies will come independently. They will sponsor money wherever they like independently. But at the moment, people are well aware, international bodies and international institutions are well aware. If you come to Zimbabwe now and invest your money is going to go to the military and the SANPF. Pretty much you're just sponsoring this corrupt regime of Emerson Mnangagwa. And they're well aware of that. The international bodies, especially today, they're well aware. That's why investment is kept away. That's why Zimbabwe is stuck. Many people are being surprised why Zimbabwe is stuck today. It's stuck because international bodies are not investing. They're well aware these are not the party to invest under. They're well aware of things like that. You understand? Emerson Mnangagwa is fooling himself, thinking that we're going to support you're going to support him with all our money. We are well aware you're liars. We know you're liars. You're a bunch of criminals, murderers. You're violent, demonic, slogan pioneering thieves. You understand me? So we know that's what Emerson Mnangagwa is. He's a bunch of a liar. He's a dictatorship, a warlord, a murderer, a civilian murderer. You understand me? So we're not stupid. We're not children. The only person you can fool is a person between the age of 16 years and below. We're adults. You can't fool us. Okay, we know every tactics SANPF has been using. It's over that. You understand? And like I said before, that Nelson Chamisa made huge mistakes to the international community of legitimizing these institutions when you already know the first thing you have to do is to attack these institutions to be independent. He didn't do that. That's why when we brought lawyers from South Africa, they refused those lawyers to come in. You understand? Something which in the future in Zimbabwe we're going to make institutions independently run, so that anyone from any nation could come to Zimbabwe and see things for themselves. They don't need to be verified by anybody. They have to come in from the European Union, international community, from the African organization. They can come at will, anytime they will, and verify, because this can only come if Zimbabwe is democratic. And at the moment, Zimbabwe is not democratic under these people. You see, that's why they block people who come to the country. They block people they know these people are not going to support them, so that they rig elections easy. And the problem with the mistake which Nelson Chamisa did is to legitimize these institutions in Zimbabwe. We are well aware they're not independent institutions, like the Supreme Court in Zimbabwe, the so-called Supreme. It's the so-called Supreme Court. In fact, it's a club full of SANPF members. You understand? It's not a Supreme Court of Zimbabwe. It's a Supreme Court of SANPF. Calling it a Supreme Court of Zimbabwe, you are legitimizing. That's one thing which the biggest one thing of mistake which Nelson Chamisa did, is to legitimize something you know is a lie, is wrong. You're well aware. Everybody knows it. I know it myself. There's nobody within the SANPF I trust, or I like anyway. Voting for Emerson Mnangagwa is like eating your own raw sewage. It's like swimming it's equivalent to swimming in a swimming pool full of raw sewage. That is equivalent to voting for Emerson Mnangagwa. In fact, if people say, would you vote for Emerson Mnangagwa? Or would you vote for Emerson Mnangagwa? Or jump in a sewage full of thousands of tons of waste, green waste you see in a sewage? I would rather jump inside that raw sewage than to vote for Emerson Mnangagwa. He's the worst piece of shit I've never. He's a liar. That guy. Zimbabwe, and those people are liars and criminals. That's the reasons capturing the country from moving forward. And they want to pretend as if they're democratic. We know all your tools. This is why they form institutions and say, oh, Zimbabweans, please come, let's support each other. Deep down, you have no interest in that. Democratic Zimbabwe doesn't need all that. It needs independent bodies, independent institutions. Everything in Zimbabwe, every public institution in Zimbabwe must be democratic on its own, run itself independently. The problem is, in Zimbabwe, things are not run that way. These things are hooked to ZANU-PF, and that's the problem. And people don't like the ZANU-PF. All these institutions are hooked to ZANU-PF, and people don't like the ZANU-PF, and that is stalled. That is almost hijacked the nation. The business people, they don't like Zimbabwe's politicians under ZANU-PF. The business doesn't like ZANU-PF. The international bodies don't like ZANU-PF. The African Union is well aware of the ZANU-PF as a dictatorship junta, military junta. Public in Zimbabwe don't like the ZANU-PF. All these institutions don't like the ZANU-PF. They don't like Zimbabwe led by Emmerson Mnangagwa. They don't like. As a result, Zimbabwe is stalling. Zimbabwe cannot move forward. You understand? Because it's almost like a person in charge who people don't like. No one is going to support something they don't like. You understand? It's simple. Nobody, the business community is not supporting, is not going to support people they don't like. This is what happened when a country is sanctioned, just like North Korea and Iran. The business community are reluctant not to support any country which is sanctioned. No one wants to trade with that country. You understand? The moment a country is independent and free, millions of people come to invest. Zimbabwe's situation can change within 2 or 3 years of Nelson Chamisa. Within 2 or 3 years, you could see the results. In fact, it takes almost 12 months. Within 12 months or 6 years, they would create independent body, independent institutions, and all of a sudden, the international community will pour billions and billions of dollars. Within 8 to 12 months, people will see the fruits. Like, all Zimbabwe's institutions are now independent. We can invest our money, we can get profits from investing in Zimbabwe, we can earn our profit, everything is independent, and millions of people. That is not happening because the international community is well aware it's a dictatorship. They saw the soldiers killing people. They already saw Zimbabwe. You see that these people are pretending. See what Emmerson Mnangagwa is doing? He's pretending to be democratic. He's pretending. He doesn't know that people are well aware of it. We're well aware of your tactics. You know? Oh, let bygones be bygones. Oh, let's be together. Oh, let's work. You see, they talk a good talk. We know these tactics. We know all your tactics within the ZANU-PF. We know every tactics used by ZANU-PF. It's no longer working. That's why they cannot move forward. You see, the MTC doesn't need ZANU-PF. ZANU-PF need MTC. The MTC party doesn't need ZANU-PF. They can lift Zimbabwe alone with or without ZANU-PF. You see, because the ZANU-PF party, they've got nothing. They only live on scrounging and stealing money from the public institution. You understand? That's how they thrive. They steal money from public institutions. That's how they thrive themselves. Internationally, they don't receive support from any international body. From IMF, World Bank, and all other international institutions. They're well aware of that. They know it now. That's why they're coming to the MTC and say, "Oh, come, let's have a dialogue." We know you don't mean it. You just want MTC to help you loot the country for you. One thing which happened, it happened under, who's this one? Morgan Tsvangirai. Morgan Tsvangirai joined the government of national unity under Robert Mugabe. And Robert Mugabe had no intentions to make Zimbabwe democratic. Because if you make the country democratically, everybody is going to be held accountable for what they do. You understand? The decision makers will now understand that you will be held account of anything bad or wrong happening. You will be put in front of the law, charged, imprisoned, or hanged under international law or under the law of the land. At the moment, there is no rule of law. There is no rule of law. Like in Zimbabwe, there is no rule of law. Law and order is just for everybody else and not for the ZANU-PF people. So everybody knows that. This is why when this guy, who's this, Morgan Tsvangirai, joined Robert Mugabe for the unity government, that was the biggest mistake. In fact, Zimbabwe stabilized at that time. There was a lot of investment at that time. Because people trusted this. But guess what? Dictatorship will never change their mentality. Robert Mugabe's mindset was not to. In fact, they used that as a situation and poisoned this guy, Morgan Tsvangirai. They used that to poison Tsvangirai. That's why Tsvangirai is no longer with us today. So you cannot be careful. In fact, this guy should be careful too, Nelson Chamisa, for this so-called unity, a dialogue with the people who have no intention of making Zimbabwe a democratic state. They have no intention. Because if you make Zimbabwe a democratic state, you will be accountable. Democratic countries, people are accountable. You will be accountable for what you do. A dictatorship, people are not accountable. They do what they want. They kill women, they rape men, and capture men and things of that nature, and kill people, things of that nature, which they are enjoying today. But under a democratic country, you can no longer do that. That's why these people are scared of democracy. Democracy means rule of law and order. And in Zimbabwe, there's no rule of law. The raping of women, soldiers raping women, police officers raping women, and things of that nature. And the mistake of what Tsvangirai did is to form Tsvangirai was actually honest. Tsvangirai, let's form the reason why Tsvangirai acted the way like that, he saw the suffering of millions of Zimbabwe. So he wanted to help a lot of Zimbabweans because he was looking at the suffering of Zimbabwe. So he wanted to help. But he had no idea of the dictators, that these dictators had no intention of leaving power. That is what you see even today. You can see the drastic measures, which it includes killing people. That's like Emerson Mnangagwa is doing today. They've no anytime you see a person in power with no mentality or goals of leaving power, they become dangerous. Any person who rules the country with no objective, because if you rule a country with law and order in a democratic country, people put measurements. If you don't live up to those measurements, you're out. If you look at the European Union, any leader in the European Union who messes up, they just resign. They don't disturb the nation. They don't disturb businesses. They don't impose what they like on people. No. Democratically, you do something wrong under the rules written on the papers there, you resign. No one chases you like in the European Union and America. People resign. They say something they're not supposed to say publicly. It goes public, then they resign. You understand what I'm saying? You don't even wait to be voted out. But at home back, people wait to be kicked out. People don't want to live, especially in a dictatorship like what it is in Zimbabwe. They don't want to live. They want to stay course, come what may. And that is what is impacting Zimbabwe at the moment. You understand? And the ZANU-PF now knows that the country is stalling. They now know the country is not going anywhere. They're now suffering the impact of stealing of election. They wanted come, let's have a dialogue. We know dialogue of what? What kind of a dialogue do you want? They just wanted the MDC, come and help us. No, you stole the election. You said you can do it. Do it on your own. The MDC doesn't need ZANU-PF to move Zimbabwe forward. No. Zero. There is nothing a ZANU-PF person can do because the money doesn't come from ZANU-PF. It comes from the international community. So there's nothing the MDC need from ZANU-PF. ZANU-PF needed MDC to move forward because ZANU-PF is a sanctioned party. It's a party which has got a lot of people within the ZANU-PF are under sanction. So Zimbabwe under ZANU-PF is sanctioned. There's a lot of zvisato zvakaroverwa Zimbabwe because of the ZANU-PF party. A lot of ZANU-PF members are under sanction. As a result, they can't move They can't move the nation forward. But the MDC does not need ZANU-PF because it's not sanctioned. The MDC is free to ask money from international body. Millions of money will come in, billions of dollars will come for investment, but it has to be under Nelson Chamisa. So for Zimbabweans, do not vote for anybody who's ZANU-PF. Anybody who's ZANU-PF. I don't care whether you're a woman or a man. Do not vote for anybody who's ZANU-PF, no matter what. Don't fool yourself. If you vote for this person, you're voting for Safa Continue. You're voting for your own. You're actually killing yourself. Voting for ZANU-PF kuzvisungirira. It's like kusesera nechikuni chine moto. Zvangofana kutora chikuni chine moto cheche. Osesera nechikuni chine moto. So it's voting for ZANU-PF. Uri kusesera nechikuni chine moto. That's what you're doing. Kuvotera munhu weZANU-PF kwakafanana nokukisa mtito weshumba. You understand? Aumanyi kune mtito weshumba. The consequences to you and your future and your children and your everybody, is going to be worse and worse, and nothing is going to turn good under ZANU-PF. As long as munhu weZANU-PF is in front of you, it's going to be suffer continue. So get it in your mind here and remove these people. Come what may. I would never vote for a ZANU-PF no matter what. I don't care whether you're good or bad. I would never vote for a party which is constituted of a ZANU-PF person. I don't like to see a ZANU-PF person in front of me and if voted any person who is ZANU-PF. I would never vote for any person who's called ZANU-PF. Come at me. I would rather die than kuvotera pane munhu weZANU-PF. You understand? Kuvotera munhu weZANU-PF kwafanana kuswima sewage yakasara tsvina yevanhu. Kuri easy kupinda musewage yakazara tsvina yevanhu than kuvhotera munhu weZANU PF. Zvikanzi kuvhotera munhu weZANU PF than kuswima murow sewage yakazara madhoti, I would rather jump inside there than kuvhotera munhu weZANU PF. You understand what I'm saying? So don't waste your time uchivhotera munhu weZANU PF. Kuvhotera munhu weZANU PF kutozviuraya, kuzvisungirira. You understand? Anytime you see munhu weZANU PF, it's disgusting kuvhotera munhu weZANU PF. I mean, ndikaona munhu weZANU PF, I feel like kuda kurutsa or something. I don't like to see any faces ZANU PF umberi kwangu inotondisemesa. It's completely disgusting. I don't want to see faces ZANU PF. Even ndikatarira face yamunanga, you know, it's the ugliest man I've never seen. I don't want to see that man. You know what I'm saying? So you need to get rid of that guy. In Zimbabwe, you need to understand, nothing is going to happen good under ZANU PF. So as all Zimbabwe, you need to understand, you need to get rid of these people. These people have caused enough suffering of people in Zimbabwe. They've caused enough. There's no way, even if you come with a slogan, ZANU PF, these people jumping, you know, up and down like ZANU PF is some, you know, these people are responsible for the burden of the nation. You are well aware. You don't need people to tell you. The only thing for Zimbabwe to move forward and prosper, get rid of these people. I don't care whether wakarwa hondo or whatever. Matakati kanyara timwana not a baby me. Get rid of these people and put Nelson Chamisa by any means necessary. You have to put Nelson Chamisa. That young man is the one who to rule Zimbabwe. He's the only person who's going to bring prosperity in Zimbabwe. It's Mkhadzi ZANU PF, you know, this Emmerson Mnangagwa is the worst piece of shit I've never, you know, I don't want to see that man. You know, he's the most hideous guy I've never, I said that when I'm a shatter like that, you know, remove this person, I don't want to see this person. You know, you need to understand. And for that, I say, thank you Zimbabweans for keeping, you know, things going, but understand, do not vote for Emmerson Mnangagwa, no matter what. Kuvotera Emmerson Mnangagwa kwawafanana nokurara na mbuya vako. It's something disgusting. It's equivalent to kurara na mbuya vako kana kurara na mai vako. Kuvotera Emmerson Mnangagwa. Do not vote for Emmerson Mnangagwa. Under what circumstances? Do not vote for ZANU PF. Under what circumstances? Kuno to semesa. Kuvotera munhu weZANU PF kuno to semesa. You understand? Kuno to semesa kwakafanana nokudya marutso embwa. Marutso embwa chaicho kudya marutso embwa. You understand? Kana kunomanya kunokisa kumasuru kwa mai vako. Usakisa kumasuru kwa mai vako kana unonanzva kumasuru kwa mai vako. It's equivalent kuvotera munhu weZANU PF. Kuvotera any munhu weZANU PF. It's disgusting, especially for people in Zimbabwe. The country suffered enough under these people. Get it in your mind. Don't put these people. No matter what promises they tell you, nothing is going to happen in Zimbabwe. Zimbabwe has no future under these people, of ZANU PF people. There's no future. To create a good future for Zimbabwe, get rid of these people. Vote for MTC. Come what may. Come what may. And Emmerson Mnangagwa is the worst person. Oh, let bygones be bygones. You know, how can we campaign? You think we're stupid. You stole an election from us and you think we are going to support you. Really? We would never ever support Emmerson Mnangagwa, no matter what. No matter what. We're not going to reward you for stealing from us. To support Emmerson Mnangagwa, it's equivalent of rewarding a person from stealing from you. Muna ubuya urepa mwana wako umbetsera kuti this is how you do it. You should know this person is a criminal. Emmerson Mnangagwa is the biggest criminal in Zimbabwe. They talk good, they've got a good talk, but they don't mean it. Deep down, imondi. Deep down, imondi, they come publicly, but a good talk. Kurasisa, they talk a good talk. Nobody trusts them. Nobody trusts them, and you shouldn't trust them because of their track record. You shouldn't be if you're in Zimbabwe. You should not trust these people, no matter what. You should not trust these people. And with that, subscribe to my video, and we will sort our country further and fix it. With that in mind, thanks Zimbabwean. Thanks for all you Zimbabwean for your support, and we'll see you next time. Subscribe. Goodbye.